Now, while the EU is doubling down on migration from Africa, we bring you the story of Mary Stretch, a woman who is working tirelessly to bring succor to refugees and asylum seekers by clothing them in luxury brands. She comes into Channels Television's London studio looking very unassuming, but quite familiar with the studio environment. Mary did not have a background in humanitarian work. She was a presenter for BBC Two's first black programme Ebony and BBC One's live Sunday programme This Is the Day. After leaving the BBC, she trained as a marketing headhunter for multinationals, recruiting senior marketers for brands like Disney, Coca-Cola, L'Oreal and Puma. So how did this veteran television presenter with experience of working with luxury brands find herself in humanitarian work? Thank you so much, Mary, for joining us on the show. Just start by telling us a bit about your background and how you got into what you do now.
I was born in Lagos to really extraordinary parents. My parents were pioneers. They married in 1951. My dad was white and he helped run the Nigerian railways, and my mum was from an Igbo and extremely poor. And they met and married, and they had 4 daughters. And they decided, because it was 16 years they married before you were allowed to marry in America with the loving versus loving case, that they had these 4 daughters who were going to largely be brought up in England. And so they wanted us to be successful. It was a decision that had to be made in order to help me navigate racial tension and open doors for me and my family. I've been running my own business for a long time with some great companies. I noticed the refugees when I was in Calais. So when I was in France, and these little skinny black migrants used to come and talk to me in Lidl. And I felt I can give them 10 euros, but that's not going to help. And then I thought about actually my passion, and being African myself, being Nigerian, I hate that idea of just being stripped of your human rights. Though if you're forced to leave your country, you're suddenly, the world says you mean nothing. And you can't go and rejoin your family, wherever that is. You've left everybody you know and everything that you care about. You want to start a new life. You're desperate for safety. You've probably been tortured and beaten. You've had to navigate those chilling journeys. You've seen horrendous things, people drowning, people suffering, taking years to cross a continent. You've walked from Syria, and then you get to Calais and you're evicted by the police. They're living wild in Calais. Their makeshift tents and camps are broken up.
So who's a refugee? Who's an asylum seeker? Is there a difference?
All right, yes. Well, a refugee, according to the Geneva Convention, is somebody who has been forced to leave their home, their country, because of fear of persecution or a number of other specific ills, some of which I've named, like famine or climate change or armed conflict or religious persecution, and is seeking safety. That is what a refugee is. And an asylum, it's actually a status. So you have to claim asylum in a new country, and until you get the right to remain in that country, in that place of safety, you are an asylum seeker. All right? So you're an asylum seeker up to the point where your claim has been checked out by that country, and they say, yes, you are in fear of your life, and then you get the right to remain, and then you become a refugee. However, we use the catch-all term refugee to cover all of those people, anybody that is running in fear of their life.
Mary founded Calais in 2017, and Calais Light is a refugee car-sharing convoy which takes volunteers to Calais for weekends. They help to feed and support the refugees who are stranded there, living in terrible conditions. So just talk us through your big project.
Okay.
You talked about working with very exciting. It's funny how everything you've experienced seems to have led up to where you are now with the big brands.
Yes, and
so talk us through that, because I'm going somewhere with that.
So first of all, let me tell you how I started Calais Light. So when I saw these refugees, I thought, I'm going to start a brand. I'm going to start a convoy, a weekend-only convoy that takes ordinary people from the UK to Calais to volunteer with the 3 British refugee charities that support the refugees, clothe them and feed them. These are Care for Calais, Choose Love, which everybody knows, and the Refugee Community Kitchen. Because random people isn't a way to feed people, isn't it? Random volunteers. You need to know that there's a lot of people coming so that you can actually mobilize them. So I take people, we book everything. We're like a mini travel agency for people who are too scared to go there to help on their own. Because of people traffickers and so on. So we book the travel, we book the accommodation, we organize all the legals, we book cars, we do car share, etc. So we've taken about 500 people. We've organized about 14 trips, and we just go for the weekend, and we have fun. But we go and work very hard for these charities. So since the pandemic, we've not been able to do that. We've not been able to travel. It's been locked down. And I suddenly thought, why don't you use all your business contacts? I decided to ring up all of these very senior marketeers and CEOs and people that I have either been candidates or clients, and the ones that make or manufacture or sell goods that refugees need here, and ask them to provide brand new, age-appropriate, fashion-forward, luxury, if I can get it, retail-worthy, not samples, not seconds, but fabulous clothes to refugees who are languishing in hostels and hotels, or who are newly arriving from across the Channel in the torn, stained clothes that they travelled in. I wanted to change the narrative of British perception of them. We've had fantastic results. The CEO of boohoo.com has provided 300 outfits. So tracksuit bottoms, tops, sweatshirts, t-shirts, trainers, shorts, the whole works, and age appropriate and fashionable. Levi's jeans, Calvin Klein underwear, not old rubbish, but really beautiful stuff. And that's what these companies have
signed up to do.
Yes, it's marvellous.
This is what you do here in the UK.
Yes.
Any contacts back home, or do you have any outlets? So, for instance, you have the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission who are working with Nigerian British nationals like yourself to say whatever you're doing here, whatever template that is working here can also work back home. Do you have any?
No,
you do?
Unfortunately, no one has approached me. In terms of the diaspora, I feel sad that in Nigeria, I'm very proud to be Nigerian, but I think Nigerians have got a very tough attitude towards charity. My father and my mum used to say that Africa is just, if Africa had all the gifts that the West has, it would rule the world. We are so intelligent, we've got so much drive as a country, but we don't translate it necessarily into doing good.
What would be a high point of everything that you do now?
I think the highest point of my career was being on the Diversity and Inclusion Committee for the London 2012 Games. Because that was the London 2012 Games, in all the years that I worked in recruitment, is the only organisation that really tried to be truly inclusive. To have black people, disabled people, Muslim people, old people, women, all part of their organisation, doing what they do best. And I was one of the people that had to recruit those people from my channel. So I was looking for black marketeers. And it was, we went into Canary Wharf every month for 5 years before the Olympics started. And we received all the news about the Games before the press did. And so we helped shape that Games into a truly international, a truly harmonious, inclusive, world-beating Games. And there's never been anything like it since or before. So I think I'm proudest of that, because that includes what I think that's what my faith says, that we should all be included. We're all the same. I feel I've done a lot of good if I've managed to clothe people, if I've managed to get other people mobilized to see what they could so easily be themselves. It could happen to us tomorrow.
It was fantastic sitting down with you, very emotional listening to the kind of work you do, and that takeaway there that it could be anyone. It could be anyone. Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you. And there you have it. While some who exit this country do very well, others get stuck in transit and have to rely on handouts. Perhaps one should weigh the pros and cons before making the move to migrate. That's it on the program. You can watch other episodes on our website. You can also catch us on the various platforms as well. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Thanks a lot for watching and see you next time.